What's up, guys? Welcome to another 11 out of 10 podcast. We're once again bringing it bigger and better than ever before. We got my co-host, Zachary Keeps, back again. Welcome, Zach.
Great to see you.
And guys, we have a special treat for you. A very special treat. One of my favorite people in this entire industry. He is real. He is authentic. He's got the numbers like nobody else. He sold deals in every single state. In fact, he sold purchased 50 deals in 50 days in 50 states. Absolutely incredible. He's won pretty much every single closing competition in the United States of America. The man himself, the legend, the king closer, RJ Bates. Welcome.
What's up, guys?
RJ, welcome.
Yeah,
it's been a couple of years, brother. Couple of years.
Hey, and not to critique your intro there.
Okay, let's hear the critique.
It was 125 contracts.
125 contracts.
Yeah. And we've only sold one in Utah. That was the one.
Utah?
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
That's impressive.
Listen, it was Duck Creek Village.
Duck Creek Village.
Who
the hell names their village Duck Creek Village?
If you search that, it doesn't even give you a population. But with the power of Investorlift, baby.
Yes.
Wow. You sold it on Investorlift.
We had multiple offers.
Amazing.
Multiple offers in a town with no population.
Our buyer took a snowmobile to the property because he couldn't drive to it to go see it, and that's how he bought it.
You can't make this shit up, guys. You can't make this shit
amazing.
up. That is the true power of Investorlift.
It was.
Wow.
Well, check that one off, though.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I was just on a call today. There was a guy who was on a pro account, and he had 19 properties under contract. He just started wholesaling.
Yeah.
Like 6 months ago, he just started. And he's got this Dispo bottleneck, 19 properties to move. It's a lot. He's trying to do it just on a pro account. I'm like, bro, let me show you the real power. I turned on Lieutenant for him just for like 5 minutes. Dude, 5 phone calls. We had this property literally had a swimming pool in the basement. We'll put up a photo of it. Literally had a swimming. Okay, the entire wall had caved in. And then it rained, and all the water came in.
Yep.
And the water in the basement was literally up to here, and there's an entire caved-in wall. We sold that thing. It was asking 95. I'm like, let's throw a buy it now 100. 5 phone calls we had sold.
Wow. That's crazy.
What state?
Yeah.
That was Columbus, Ohio.
Wow.
That's a good market.
Yeah, he bought Lieutenant.
Yeah, I bet he did.
We paid for it first.
Yeah.
We sold the deal. He made the money, and then he's like, okay, all right, I got the money. Now I'm going to buy it, and I'm going to have this every day.
Wow.
I will say, though, on that note, sometimes people hear those stories, and they assume that that's the norm with Investorlift.
You got to have a good deal.
You have to have a good deal. You have to have good marketing with the deal, right?
Yeah.
Like your actual description, the pictures, the videos, the title of the email, and the texting, right?
Yeah.
And then also there's times where you have to pick the damn phone up and talk to people.
Yeah. And don't just expect.
Don't just sit back and be like, well, I emailed and texted it.
No, you got to work it. Work the list.
Yeah.
Work the list. It's a tool. I always say, I can give you a Ferrari, but if you leave it in the garage, you don't take it out and take it for a spin, you're not going to be Michael Schumacher.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So RJ, all the way from Texas, a lot of people know you. You've got an amazing reputation. I had the honor of having dinner with you one time. You left a good, solid, lasting impression on me. It was fun to get to know you. I think we have a very similar style. Talk to our audience. We always want people to watch this podcast and have like real takeaways, something tangible that says, okay, I learned something. What's something and a couple factors that people can extract from all your successes that makes you unique, that maybe they can utilize and implement into their business, whether it's in real estate, finance, whatever it is. Talk to me about who you are and why are you so different than everyone else and you've achieved massive success consistently. You're not just one close and that's it. You do it time and time again and you have an impeccable reputation.
Yeah, well, I think Robert's intro to begin with is a pretty consistent theme with our success. Real, raw, authentic. There was a period in time that wasn't the case, right? I mean, when you're newer as an entrepreneur, just in general, like you fall under the pressures of like what you're expected to be.
Yep.
We eliminated that at some point in time where it was like, wait, isn't the point in being an entrepreneur so you don't have to be what everybody says you're supposed to be? Like we can create our own reality.
Yeah.
And when we really bought into that and we started just going out and being ourselves, and pretty much swimming against the stream on what everybody else says.
I love it.
Right? I mean, everybody told us, like, you got to go deep in one market. And I thought to myself, I was like, well, if everybody's going deep in one market, what fucking market do I pick?
Yeah.
There's somebody already deep. There's already you. There's already Brent Daniels. There's always these people that are owning that market. It's like, okay, well, that doesn't feed my personality. And so I was like, let's cast a wide net. And basically using the analogy from the There Will Be Blood movie. Where he
Great
says,
movie.
Yeah, he says, I stuck my straw in your milkshake and I drank your milkshake. I mean, that's how I view virtual wholesaling. It's like, listen, the guys that go deep in a market, it's like I told Brent Daniels today. I was like, I don't care how many deals you do in Maricopa County. I'll do 5 to 10 this year. The 5 to 10 that you miss, I get. I average 15,000, so I just took $75,000 off of your plate. But that's in one market. I can go in all of the markets. I just do that everywhere. And just consistently having that thought process around everything that we do. It's like, if everybody's doing something, I'm going to look the other way. So I don't do belly-to-belly appointments. We only close over the phone, all 50 states. I think the technology also, we've been in this a decade now. And when we got started, we didn't have things that you could comp all across the United States.
Yeah.
We didn't have Investorlift.
Yeah.
So like the fear of locking up a deal in Utah in 2014 is how do you dispo it? Couldn't. Facebook group or JV partner.
Yeah.
Right? Now technology
Deer
Craigslist.
Creek Valley or whatever the hell it was.
Right.
Duck Creek Valley.
Nowadays, technology has allowed us to be super creative with our thought process and just really, what is everybody else doing? And the entrepreneurial spirit is do the opposite.
I love that. That's a great takeaway.
That's amazing. Yeah. Now, were you always, I presume you, like day one, you weren't virtual though, right? Like day one, quick. Were you like belly to belly? Like how'd you get into it and how'd you get to virtual?
So Cassie and I were contractors.
Yeah.
So we were doing remodels. We found out about wholesaling. We spent $65,000 on education. Went to Vegas, and there they taught us how to get deals off the MLS.
Was it like a Fortune Builders?
Wasn't Fortune Builders, but it was pretty close.
Similar, yeah.
They were using the Flip in Vegas, Scott and Amy Yancey's Like in Kind. Funny enough, Annie.
How old are you right now?
I'm 39.
And you started 10 years ago?
10 years ago.
Okay, so 29. So prior to that, just for the background, you guys have a contracting.
Yeah.
Are you licensed contractors?
Well, we're Texas, baby.
Texas. You're just a contractors.
We're just contractors.
I love the transparency, the vulnerability.
I had a website and a card. What do you mean?
I love that. That's good. But you understood all aspects of construction.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great background, by the way. So someone is a contractor and they want to transition to this or do it simultaneously just so people can extract value. It makes sense.
Well, that was the value that we were bringing.
You understand these
So
homes.
we figured out how to get deals off the MLS and Dispo and Craigslist for $65,000.
Wow.
So the first couple of years, we weren't doing any direct-to-seller marketing.
They overcharge you for that, by the way.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know.
Yeah, well, it taught us enough to be dangerous, right? It got us here. So
I got you here. It got you here. So
yeah, it worked out, right?
It worked out then.
But they overcharged. But we didn't do any direct-to-seller marketing for like the first 2-3 years.
Wow.
Because we learned how to do the MLS deals, and mine and Cassie's personality is point us in a direction, tell us what to do, and we go do it. And as soon as I taste success, I mean, it's just like, bro, I'm an unstoppable machine. Like, I'm just going to keep going. And that first year, it was me and Cassie sitting on our laptops inside of Barnes & Noble, and we did $750,000 on assignments.
Wow. That's incredible.
I mean, because we didn't know any better though.
Yeah.
I just remember walking around and like one day I was walking around the parking lot, sold a deal. We made like $30,000 on the deal. And I remember looking around and I was like, I just made my salary at Pizza Hut when I was a manager. And I locked the deal up and walked outside and called the buyer and made my entire year's salary. Yeah. Like, this is insane, you know? From there, eventually we went to a real estate meetup and everyone was talking about direct mail, cold calling, all this stuff that they were doing.
Yeah.
And it was an open bar at the meetup. So I was a little feeling good on the way home. And I was like, I don't think we're doing things the right way. I was like, we're the only ones that get deals off the MLS.
But that's the beauty of it, right? Like, I don't buy any deals off the MLS, but there are deals there. If you sit there and work whatever the system is consistently, and obviously I want to talk about something very strategic to you guys and how you're different is, you talk to enough people, you build your relationship guy.
Yeah.
You do it virtually, I do it face to face. Talk to us about why were you so successful on, because everyone always is, evasive, the MLS, there's no deals. Why do you feel you were successful compared to everyone else who goes direct marketing? Like, what are the relationships? How do you talk to these people? What makes you unique that people want to do business with you guys?
750 on the MLS. I've never heard numbers like that.
So the reason why is because you have to find value. Otherwise, you don't make any money, right? So the value that we found was people that were wanting to flip houses in other locations virtually that couldn't find deals. So, for example, there was people out there in Massachusetts, California, Idaho that wanted to flip houses in Texas because Texas is a great market.
Yeah.
They didn't know how to find deals, so they were going to realtors. Well, the realtors suck. I mean, they don't do anything. So, I mean, can we agree?
Most, yes.
Okay, there you go. You got on board with it.
95%.
I say 99%.
Okay.
To the 1%, I love you.
10, I say 10, but all good.
Okay. To the 90%, I love
whatever.
you. Okay.
Hopefully you guys are enjoying this awesome, incredible interview with RJ Bates. Guys, we got another legend coming up next week. None other than Austin Zabak. Over 500 wholesale deals this year. Runs the biggest retail shop in all of Arizona as well. So make sure to stay tuned next week for the next episode. Can't wait.
So the value that we were providing was the deals that these realtors weren't bringing to them. And we also added our contractor value where we were like, we can write up scopes for you. We can put design packages together for you. And we were charging a little bit extra for that. So it's like, okay, we'll make a $15,000 assignment fee on this, but then we'll also charge a couple of grand for a design package, which at that point in time, we already had that because we were doing those.
Yeah.
So it was just, Cassie was just changing the square footage, maybe changing a couple tiles out or paint colors, and boom, they get a couple
extra. Were you doing the
grand.
contracting for them as well, or no? Okay.
We did one, and then so we learned about wholesaling August of 2014. We closed the deal in December of 2014. It was like our third or fourth assignment. In order for us to close that deal, we had to be the contractor.
Got it.
That was our last deal. January 1, 2015, we shut everything else down, went full time.
Yeah.
That was the last deal that we ever did. And I always say we sucked as contractors, and then I went back and looked. It was like a 2,400 square foot remodel. And I looked at it and I was like, dude, we got that thing done in 3 weeks.
That's
like foundation, roof, everything. I was like, bro, we're kind of badass at that.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't make shit for money, but we got the deal done.
But it gave you the foundation and the knowledge to package and sell deals. That's really critical. That's a huge value add for the wholesaling from your perspective.
Yeah, and that's what allowed us to do those MLS deals. But then there were struggles, right? I mean, there's always the struggles of, hey, I saw this deal was listed on the MLS. What value are you bringing me? Well, a lot of times we were getting properties at a significantly lower than the list price.
Right.
Whereas I think most people are afraid to do that. There was a deal that we did in Dallas that was listed for $400,000, and we got it on our contract for $300,000.
Right.
So if you're an investor, which you are, if I brought you a deal right now and you saw it on the MLS and it was listed for $400,000 and I'm selling it to you for $320,000, what do you think?
I'd question, I don't understand. You had market exposure. It may only be worth $320,000 because it's got, full transparency. So I'd be questioning it. I need you to really sell me more. I'm not 100% against it, but I'd want to know, well, I don't care. You could have a house that's listed for $1 million and, but it's listed for $500,000.
I'll give you the answer. I was the only person willing to offer $300,000.
Got it. But I'm just saying from my perspective, to wholesale it for me at $320,000, I question, what's listed at $400,000, why would they accept so much lower? It's not worth it. Is there foundational issues?
No one asked.
There you go. So you're not afraid to go in for that.
Everyone looked at it and said it's listed for $400,000. That's too high. I was the only person that came in and said I can give you $300,000 and close in 2 weeks.
Right.
And they accepted it.
But outside of that, how did you sell yourself? Like, how were you so likable to those agents, the community, to them, for them willing to accept your
track
logo?
record? I mean, we built it up pretty quickly there. But I mean, the other thing is there is a numbers game, volume. I mean, some point in time, those sellers get just as motivated. Just because they're listed on the MLS doesn't mean they're not going to be motivated.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you had enough offers, enough calls, but you also substantiated the offers based on your contracting background, saying, I respect your 400 ask, but if you back into these repairs and you show them the value of your offer, then they're more compelled to take that deal.
Correct.
There you go.
So on that note, though, what I realized pretty quickly, because you asked me about how fast did we go virtual?
Yeah.
After about 3 months, I was like, okay, there's not a property listed in Dallas or Fort Worth or any surrounding city that I haven't already seen. So we got to go somewhere else.
Yeah. Just ran out of realtors.
So then it was
call.
like, all right, Austin, San Antonio. Funny, I would never recommend doing this, but I actually like drove down there, drove the streets, and I was like, I got to get to know the market, you know? And then it was like, what am I trying to get to know? You know, it's just numbers. That's all it is. So we went to San Antonio and Austin pretty quickly. And then as soon as we popped off a couple deals in San Antonio and Austin, I was like, what stops us from doing this at other states? So we immediately went to Tulsa, Phoenix, Baltimore, and Portland. I just picked random cities across the country that I heard were good. We started doing deals out here. We got deals out here that we immediately started getting like 50. I think the highest we did out here was like $120,000 assignment.
Wow.
And it was just like, and that was on a tear down.
Damn.
I mean, it was just like, bro, I fell in love with Phoenix at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, this is amazing.
Do you remember the street?
Dixoletta.
I know Dixoletta. That's up north. Yep. So North Scottsdale, so it's probably an acre property.
Yep.
There you go.
It's a horse ranch.
There you go.
Yep.
I know every area.
So Dixoletta, and then another one on 41st, Sales.
So it's Cactus.
Arcadia. You know,
Arcadia is a great market. Yeah.
Man. Just fell in love with this.
Were
Same
those
thing in
MLS
Portland.
deals or were those direct
were.
to sellers? It's amazing. It's great.
Yeah. And then again, the buyers on those were a lot of in buyers in other states. People in California that wanted deals in Phoenix. They had crews, they had a realtor, they had money, they didn't have a deal. So they didn't care about it being listed on the MLS.
So did you find those buyers through Investorlift?
No, that's
pre-Investorlift.
This is
It wasn't even invented yet.
Oh, you said
bro.
you penetrated the market. So how did you find the buyers from another state that wanted to buy there? How did they find you?
So, you know how we spent $65,000 to learn wholesaling?
Yeah.
I found a group that spent $65,000 on virtual flipping. They were told, hey, you want to flip houses, you don't do it where you're at. You do it in these other places.
That's crazy.
And then they needed deals.
Wow.
And it was like the honey hole of all honey holes.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, dude, it was pretty fun. I will say some of those deals did not work out for those people. And looking back, I feel bad for some of them. Yeah. I mean, just like I got duped into spending $65,000 for MLS deals and Craigslist, they got duped into, hey, flip a house 2,000 miles away from you. That's a really bad idea.
It's a really bad idea.
I agree.
But at the time, I didn't know any better. I was brand new into this. I was like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do, right?
But didn't you know it wasn't a deal in your heart of hearts? If you're a contractor, you know the numbers. How could you sleep at night, hypothetically, knowing that you're like, how's someone going to make money on this?
Oh, no, the numbers worked.
They work, but they just lost because they got taken advantage of.
Well, yeah, they weren't there to manage it.
Got it. So it was
And they also-
poor management, outsourcing.
It's
also
their
didn't-
first deal, probably.
Right.
They didn't know
like,
what they were doing.
Gotcha.
They would have lost if
they
it was
probably
their
are putting
house.
in, you know, like deluxe everything, like way too high scope of work.
You remember your first deal?
Yeah, of course.
Every time you move in a deal without using Investorlift, you're doing this. No, God! On average, we're selling at $30,000 per assignment on Investorlift. Come check out how you can make more money for the same deals on Investorlift. Click on the link below. No! No!
Remember your first deal?
Yeah, of course.
How'd that work out for you?
Worked out.
Yeah.
It wasn't like huge
exactly
margins.
keeps.
No, but I was boots on the ground. I was
But you
here,
were
vertically
there,
integrated.
right?
I was here. I don't recommend at all investing out of state or virtually or anything else. We have different models, but also everything I do is see it, feel it, touch it, trust nobody.
Same thing. My first flip that I did,
Yeah.
I mean, we were there.
Of course.
Yeah.
It was like, this is my baby.
Yeah.
This is the moment, right? I don't know how those people slept at night knowing, okay, I closed on my first deal and I'm never going to see it.
Yeah.
And I think the guy got started today. I think the contractor went.
Right.
Such a bad idea.
He sent me pictures of like a demo
Are
house.
you able to say who was it that came up with that virtual House flipping course?
It was just a random, like, something real estate academy. I don't know who the person
I'm wondering
was.
who was behind that.
Because I wasn't in it.
No idea. Right.
Such a bad idea.
Horrible.
Now, I do know some guys that flip virtually, like Nick Perry. He was on the podcast last week. He's done a few, but like he's got a decade in the game.
Yeah.
Right? He knows how to do it.
He does a lot of novations too, though, right? Novations and wholetails.
Yeah, he does a mix of everything.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting is you said you did the construction on one and then you were out. Is that just because you realized it didn't scale, or what was it that where you're like, no, screw this, I'm 100% wholesale?
Yeah, it was 100% wanting to be wholesale. Yeah. Part of us going into wholesaling was that I resonated with it so much. I was like, I want that. I want that to be my career, not contracting. Yeah. I didn't like contracting. I mean, dude.
How did you even get into contracting, by the way? Like, did you go to college?
No. Yeah, I went to North Texas. Didn't finish.
Did you play football?
I did in high school.
Yeah, you look like everyone in Texas plays football. Yeah. But you've been staying out of the sun for a long time. You still got that albino skin. Maybe that's helpful for the selling.
This is what hockey players do.
There you go. Staying on
My son plays hockey.
You blended well in Canada.
Yeah. Well, you made me sit on a white couch.
I know. So you're looking good. You got a little yellow on there.
A little. I don't know. Over here.
Contrast. I saw football and hockey. You have an athletic background.
Yeah.
Is that where the competition mindset comes from?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's also just how I was born.
Okay.
I mean, I know that now because I have 2 kids and I see it in them. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, we just come walking out like that, you know? But,
so your parents, were you socialized in a competitive household? How was it? What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I played every sport that you could possibly play. Always uber competitive. And I think, listen, competition breeds excellence.
Absolutely.
I mean, people give a hard time about some of the competitive nature I have in this industry. I don't really care. I mean, it's what...
If you're not competitive, you're not going to go to the top. You're the oil against the water. What are you talking about?
It's what fuels me. I mean, sometimes you ever read Relentless from Tim Grover? So it's about Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. He was their trainer. And it's one of my favorite books because I now understand why I do things. Like there's a story about Michael Jordan walking past someone in a hallway. And he made up a story about that guy talking trash about him. The guy didn't say anything. He just made it all up.
Just to motivate him.
Yeah. And he went out and he smoked him that night, right? And I do the same thing. Like, half the time, it's like, I don't even think some of these people even think about me or care about what I'm doing, but to me, it's always, there's some level of competition. I spoke at a mastermind a couple of weeks ago, and it was full of people, family mastermind.
Yeah.
And essentially, it's all the people that have some sort of software, program, education business. Yeah. Coaches.
It's like the guru meetup for the gurus.
There you go.
So we're there, and I'm speaking about what we're doing.
Does everybody get a ruler just to measure each other?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, I like it. All right.
And so we're going through my speech, and I'm like, listen, I'm here to beat you. That's my job. I'm going to tell you exactly how I'm going to beat you. Because I think if I don't go into it with that mindset, I lose the edge on wanting to try to be creative on how we're going to get better every single day. I mean, listen, I'm here in Phoenix. I'll go to Brent Daniels' office. I go to Steve Trang's office. I watch how they run their podcasts. And I'm like, what can I take away from that I can add to my podcast and make my podcast better than them?
I love that.
Right? It's constantly wanting to compete to be better. And in the end, who benefits from that? Our industry does. Without competition, that's what ruins industries and the economy.
You
100%.
came in here tonight. We're not going to say any names. There was a face or a picture on a computer that flashed up, and you were amped up. And I love you were fired up. Face was red, arms were pumped. It was like, you ready for Friday Night Football? I'm like, yo, RJ, let's bring it down. It's all good. But I love that energy, right? So there's a competitive spirit.
Listen, all I was trying to say to your boy is if he wanted to learn wholesaling, he should have been watching my videos, not someone else.
I love that. Look at that. It's great.
That's it.
But that's great. Straight confidence. It's authentic.
Yeah.
You're a driven MO.
Hey, let me tell you something. I'm just throwing this out there, okay? Do you know what kings eat for dinner?
Of course. I like steak. I like, lamb chops. How about you?
Goat.
Greatest of all times. There you go.
What kings eat for dinner.
There you go.
All right, moving on.
Yeah, moving on. That's good. So let's talk about investments. You virtually wholesale. Obviously, you got a great machine that's working, consistent.
Yep.
Do you digest anything yourself to flip? And talk to me about alternative investments. What do you like in these days? And what are you thinking about the industry today and kind of the next 5 years? What's your confidence?
So Cassie and I did a lot of flips 2018, 2019. We had flips going on Hawaii, Alaska, Arizona, all over the place.
Virtual flips.
Yes.
Wow.
So you guys,
we had people there.
okay.
So boots on the ground.
We always had boots on the ground there. Someone that I knew, trusted. Like for example, the realtor that we used here in Phoenix became our partner for our Phoenix flips. Right. At the end of the day, I was not focused on it. I was focused on other things in the business. It was a mistake. I've been very open and honest about this because I think people need to learn from it. So that's why nowadays we are not doing any flips. We're not taking down any properties. We have a sole focus on our hedgehog concept, which is nationwide virtual flipping.
Okay. Why do you think so? It's interesting. Jerry Norton has a similar strategy that you were using before. Do you feel that those people maybe took advantage of the laissez-faire type management of it, or why do you feel it wasn't as successful as it should have been?
It wasn't successful because it wasn't the core focus of what Titanium is. I mean, our business was wholesaling, and then we said, hey, instead of making 20 grand on this, let's try to make 50 grand, but we're not going to write SOPs for that. We're not going to have set accountability for that. I'm not going to be there.
Right. So you lost control.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, with my mindset, there's always going to be volume behind anything that I do. So it wasn't like, hey, go flip that house. It was go flip those 12 houses. And that's where the control got lost. We were lucky enough to survive that. But moving forward, I mean, you asked me where do you think we're at now as a market? Like,
well, just in general, like, what's your philosophy? Are you all in cash right now? Do you invest in equities, or you just put all the money back in the business? What do you do with this capital that you're making?
Yeah, I mean, right now it's a lot of reinvesting back into the business. Also, just quite frankly, there was still a lot of debt that I had to pay off from that 2018-2019 season.
Got it.
I mean, we lost millions of dollars over those 2 years, which it took. It wasn't like it just ended in 2019, right? It carried over into 2020, 2021. But also just making our lives what we want them to be as well. I think a lot of times, because we carry the tag investors, we have a tendency to not talk about what we want our lives to look like. Cassie and I came from literally nothing. I know every entrepreneur has that story, but like 2014, I mean, yeah, we were contractors, but we weren't making money. So to actually be able to get to the point now where it's like we started to build up, then we went way down, and now to be able to come back and say, all right, we have stabilized our business. We now have the lifestyle that we want, the opportunities to do whatever we want with our life. For example, I'm here today. The next 3 weeks, I'm taking my son to 3 different travel hockey tournaments.
Very cool.
In 3 different states. Like, that opportunity does not exist previously.
For sure.
Right? And to be able to put myself in that position, that's more important than me trying to figure out if I want to invest in crypto or, whatever new thing. I'm very I've learned my lesson. I'm really good at wholesaling.
There you go.
I'll stick with that.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I will also say on that note, I do think that right now, in my opinion, over the past decade, this is the best time to do wholesaling that it's ever been.
Why?
Because of the technology. It has so far eclipsed what has existed. Who cares about where the market is in comparison to 2019
Doesn't
and
matter.
what 2021? I don't care about the fact that there's not 5,000 hedge funds buying.
Yeah.
Right? The fact that I have, for $97, I can comp deals anywhere in the United States on multiple platforms. The fact that Yeah, I mean, you charge a shitload for Investorlift. Rightfully so.
I know what it's worth.
I mean,
Absolutely.
rightfully so. But the fact that I can be on the phone with a seller that I spent $55 for the lead,
Yeah.
okay? And it could be in the middle of nowhere. I've never even heard about it. Duck Creek Village, Utah, okay? Immediately go into Investorlift and see I have 2,500 buyers, and I know what they bought properties, where they bought them, how much they bought them for, and how long they owned them, and when they sold them.
It's a beautiful thing.
I mean, this is the golden age of wholesaling. I don't care what anybody says. Fuck the hedge funds.
You're welcome.
I mean, I'm just saying, the technology far exceeds. The market is always going to go like this.
Yeah.
But where the technology is going.
It's just getting started. Like, you know, we charge a lot because we reinvest everything back. Like, this is a nice place. My last place that I had, like up until January this year, was about the size of this living room.
Yeah.
Like, we're literally, people think I pay myself a lot of money. When you see me doing flashy stuff, like, that's usually like a once-a-year company trip, you know, kind of thing, or like doing stuff with clients or whatever.
I never thought that you were flashy.
In the beginning, you were coming out. You blew $250,000 in a bar night out in Wisconsin when you first came to town at my house.
Okay, celebrating with clients.
I gotcha.
You know,
That's flashy.
business expense.
Yeah.
But
He only owns one shirt.
No, he owns a couple. His classic is actually black. You're always wearing the whiite button downs.
yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah,
know.
that's
The
right.
white button
buttons.
downs.
Yeah.
That's his thing.
And actually, we're going out yesterday to go get more because I'm running out.
That's so funny.
No joke. Okay, so but we're reinvesting everything back.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to get to the next level where it's just all AI driven, where like you don't even have to do pretty much anything. The lead comes in, it tells you exactly what the price point's going to be. You just got to do that human part. The human part is actually figuring out what the scope of work is going to be.
Right.
You can't replace that with an algorithm. And then negotiating with that homeowner and figuring out like what is the best solution for them. I don't think you can do that with AI. But once you figure that out and you know, like the AI is going to tell you like, here's how fast it's going to move. Here's on average the price point. You still got to figure out the repairs on your own. But here's the 12 guys that are going to buy it.
Yeah.
Then you got that up front on the acquisition side. Then it just becomes like,
Think about how much you're
Gangbusters.
going to charge the end buyers to be one of those top 12 guys. Think you charge us
Premium?
wholesalers a lot. I want to
Start
be
charging the buyers.
I want to be the top buyer in Phoenix.
There you go.
get solid yields. But yeah, we're just getting started. Like it's going to be in the next year, the stuff that's coming out, it's going to be a whole new game. But I think it's consolidating a lot. I think 60% of wholesalers went out of business last year. We see it in our data. The top 40% are alive still, but you're going to have another 60% getting knocked out in the next couple of years.
Yep.
And we're going to see the emergence of the mega wholesaler. And the mega wholesaler are going to be guys like you that are really good at sales, really good at sales and have the best tools equipping them to solve problems at scale for homeowners that are in distress.
Well, but also what else is going to cause that mega wholesaler is the fact that we have all these states coming in with regulations. It runs people, like, for example, to the vast majority of virtual wholesalers, they now look at it and they say, I'm not going to go to Illinois. I'm not going to go to Nebraska.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go to South Carolina. I'm not going to go to Oregon. Okay, just to name, and Oklahoma. Let's just name those 5 states, okay? 2 of those states are in my top 10 highest volume states out of all 50, okay? Oklahoma and Illinois. Now, when you eliminate competition in those markets, I'm going to find the loophole. I'm still going to do my deals in Illinois. I'm still going to do my deals in Oklahoma. Whatever I have to do, okay?
Yeah.
I will do it. What happens when I know that every mom and pop wholesaler that was in Oklahoma and Illinois went away?
You pounce.
I have no competition.
Yeah.
So if I'm on the phone with a seller in 2021, I know that seller, when she says 50,000, she gets off the phone with me, she's going to talk to another wholesaler. I now know there's nobody else to talk to, sweetheart. Your 50,000 is my 25,000. The people that these regulations are trying to help, the sellers,
It's hurting them.
is going to kill them.
Yeah.
But also your other strategic advantage, because you're a mega wholesaler and you also have liquidity, is you have the ability to actually take down and close and execute and then just retail it.
Right.
That's going to be major. That's huge. So you're going to be well capitalized.
Yeah, we had a great episode, by the way, on this with Jerry Norton. Guys, if you haven't seen that, we'll link to that. Can we put it up here we'll put it up as an overlay, guys. Definitely check that one out about all the new regulations that are going into effect. But we came to the same conclusion that we're like, hey, it's gonna kill the small guy. Yeah, it's gonna raise a massive barrier to entry. But at the end of the day, if you run a good shop and you know what you're doing, it's building a competitive moat around your business.
It helps us. It's going to kill two people. Actually three. It's going to hurt the seller, who they're trying to protect. It's going to hurt the mom and pop wholesalers that don't have the liquidity or the wherewithal to try to overcome these obstacles. And then the last person that it's going to really hurt is, damn, I just lost my train of thought. Well, not necessarily the realtors.
Why? How realtors?
Okay, so
explain that one to me. I get the first two.
South Carolina.
Yeah.
They say you can't wholesale if you're not licensed, right? So what happens? All of us wholesalers that are professional marketers now will go become licensed.
Yeah.
So now, as realtors, they don't do shit. They don't do marketing.
And then they got all these animal business guys that are now licensed. Now I can, hey, you don't want to sell your house cash? That's fine. Let me list it for you.
Did they think we were just going to quit?
Right.
We weren't going to go away. We're now your competition.
You're going to have the biggest animal marketers now coming in.
11 out of 10. The RJ Bates mentality. I'm going to eat your lunch, baby. This guy comes in pouncing.
Dude, they don't do anything. That's what I'm saying.
You're a relentless guy. I like this about you.
I'm just saying.
He's like, you could kick me in the nuts. You could put my competition on the computer. I'm going to eat you all for lunch.
Dude,
That's your mentality. I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And my thing is that the realtors wanted this.
Yeah.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
RJ, in the morning, you wake up. Everyone's got different things. What drives you? What motivates you? What gets you excited about this business? Like, what's the deal? Talk to me about your...
I mean, honestly?
He's a bowl of Cheerios and his competitors.
Yeah.
There's little...
He sees them all in his Fruit Loops. Hey, this guy. No, but for real, like, what's the driving force? You go to sleep, you get a good sound sleep, you wake up in the morning. What drives you to continue to engage in this business and motivate you?
The moment I take my last breath of my life, I want to say there was nothing that I wanted to do or could do that I didn't do.
I love that.
Great.
So every time I hear somebody say they can't do that, I mean, it's almost inevitable.
Fuel.
It's happening, baby.
Yeah.
I appreciate you saying that.
Right.
I also look at it and I go, like, for example, I made a bucket list a while ago. Someone said, hey, you should do this. Write down the things that you want to accomplish in life. So in typical RJ fashion, I said, for the next year, I'm going to write down something on my bucket list that I want to do. So 365 things that I'm going to do. We don't realize how many fucking things that is to write down until you start doing it, okay? You're like 60 items in and you've run out of places you want to travel to. You've run out of sports games you want to go to. You know, you really start digging deep.
Love it.
And so one day I wrote down, I want to record a song. I can't sing, okay? It's just not a thing.
You got a country swagger to you. Here it comes.
So I said, I want to record a song. And I was the one that said, that one's probably not going to happen. That one's not going to happen. But
hold on, I think Usher beat you to it. I think he's got a song called Titanium. He stole your song. He wrote that about you.
Yeah, right.
You gave it to him.
I took the other one then. I took the King Closer then. So I found a way to get a connection to a band that I love and build a relationship and say, hey, I'm the King Closer. Why don't you write a song and we'll do it together? And so I actually helped them with the lyrics. We put it together and we released it, the King Closer.
That's amazing.
He sent this to me yesterday.
Yeah.
Can we put it up?
Play it out.
We gotta
hear
this up right
this.
now.
This is so cool.
So
Love the vulnerability.
they're actually based out of Phoenix. They're called Dropout Kings.
Okay.
The story is Cassie and I flew in for Real Estate Disruptors the first time. And as we're getting our rent car from 6th, okay, they wear the goofy little suits.
Yeah.
And it's kind of older guy, got a ponytail, super cool guy. And he's like, what kind of music you like, man? I was like, I don't know, heavy metal, rock. And he's like, no way. He's like, my son's the lead singer of a band. And I was like, yeah. I was like, that's cool. And he's like, they're featured on Sirius XM Octane. He's like, it's in your car. He's like, check them out, called Dropout Kings.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So we get in the car and I'm like, I'm not going to wait for the song to show up on Sirius XM. I put it on Spotify. I looked them up. Song starts. And I mean, it's just like right out of the gates, like it's called trap metal is what it is. And I mean, yeah, I mean, they're dropping like F-bombs, and I'm like, I did not see this coming from this little guy. And I was like, this is pretty awesome. So started listening to them. They come to Fort Worth. Me and Cassie go to see them, and I see the lead singer at the bar. And I go up to him, and I was like, hey, man, I got to tell you the story. I met your dad. This is how we found out about you. And he's like, no way. He's like, this is awesome. And then he looks at me and he goes,
that's you. He told them about you.
He goes, wait, are you the hello, this is RJ on TikTok? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, I watch you on TikTok. He's like, you're the real estate guy.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. He's like, can I take a picture with you? And I'm like, no fucking way. I was like,
it's serendipitous. It's
like,
karma.
Yeah. So we got hooked up, and he was like, dude, let's collab. And so that's where I said, let's write a song together. And we just released it on on May 3rd. So yeah.
Let's play it.
You want to hear it? Okay, we're gonna put it up.
Wow.
It's good. It's good.
So I got to ask you, Robert, can you tell what part I sing in?
Yes.
No, you cannot.
I can definitely.
You cannot.
Did you modify your voice or use AI, or are you really singing in it, or was it just your lyrics and they sing it?
I don't know. You tell me.
Let's hear it.
Okay, wait,
are we gonna play the whole song?
Or you can tell me. Just should I skip to the part where you sing? Which part are you coming out?
Hey, I'm not telling you, bro. I'd have to kill you then.
Oh, here it goes.
Look at the thumbnail. With the belt.
So sick.
Bro, you haven't seen the belt.
I haven't seen any of this. This needs to be the intro to the podcast, the King Closer RJ Bates.
All right, hey,
That's you.
That's you.
Yeah.
That's you.
Yeah, I can tell.
That's you, right? Right there?
So, all right. Some background on the lyrics there. So my daughter's name is Serenity. My son's name is Trinity because I'm the third. And so I didn't want to make him the fourth. So I called him the Trinity. So there at the end, or during the rap, where he says, Serenity, and then I leave with the Trinity. So the Trinity of belts, because I have 3 belts. When I played that for my kids, dude, that was one. You talked about like what makes me, like drives me in the morning. Dude, doing shit like that.
Amazing.
Dude,
I love
my kids,
so cool.
like,
is this your wake up song? You need to wake up. Just anytime you speak on stage, here comes the King Closer, RJ Bates. He's coming out to his own music, baby.
You get your
now
walkout
you know
track
you
for
made
life.
it.
yeah, right?
Robert's already manifesting his song for the walkout. Ladies and gentlemen,
Bro,
Mr. Wensley.
I'm just saying, I mean, I can get you the
connected.
hook
You got the
about
hookup.
this.
You got the hookup. We were just saying that the other day. When I put this on, they're like, we need a song for the podcast.
Dude.
11 out of 10. We need an 11 out of 10 song.
Oh my God, bro.
But your actions.
You want me to make that go down? 11.
Dude, connect me.
Great.
Dude, I'm saying I will help them write it. I actually have a passion for it now because like now I look at it, I'm like, dude, a lot of the direction I gave them, and like Cassie pitched in on a couple of different lines there at the end. There's a part at the end where it like gets super heavy. The only part that I have to fix is he talks a little bit about me carrying the belts and a black Louis duffel bag. And I don't have a black Louis duffel bag. So
you gotta get yourself a black Louis duffel bag?
Yeah, and I got to carry the belts in them.
Yeah.
That's like a thing now.
Every time you go to a podcast,
That's funny.
I got to do it. But no, dude, my kids now have literally in a 18-month span, they've gotten to see me on TV.
Yeah.
They've gotten to see me release a song.
Yeah.
Like, these are things that it's like, to some people, that would be like such a monumental moment. And for me, it's about, it's awesome. I try to embrace those moments, but it's what can I do today to open up an opportunity to do something else that most people would never even dream of having an opportunity to do.
I love that.
And
I
it's
love
just, dude, I
So you wrote down 60, at this point, you have 60 bucket list items.
Where
this
is
was one of them.
Viking movie on this list? Because I feel like if that's not on the list, that needs to be added. Like, play a role in a Viking movie.
Actually, funny you say that. So the TV experience, loved it, but it was reality TV. I do want to actually act in something.
Dude,
I see you. I'm going to
it.
manifest it. Here it comes. The King Closer. Ladies and gentlemen, WWE, the King Closer.
Yes.
Would you do that? I
Yes.
could see you in the wrestling ring
Oh,
for
bro.
sure. You're competitive. You'd
Listen,
be good.
I would cut the most killer fucking promo of all time.
Can we be tag team brothers?
I don't know, bro.
That's
I
fucked
mean,
up.
I like you, but what are you, like 5'8"?
I appreciate it with the shoes on. Yeah.
That's not gonna work out well with us.
What do you mean, Danny DeVito and we're brothers?
I mean, bro, I'm small for WWE size.
Are you? You seem like a big. How tall are you?
I'm 6 foot. But
Are you 6?
Yeah, but I mean, no, bro.
All right, I respect that.
Stone Cold. I mean, he looks
Stone
kind of
Cold,
small.
man.
He's like 6'3".
I watched an amazing movie that everyone should see on Netflix last night. It was called The Peanut Butter Wrestler or something. Have you guys heard of this?
No.
Oh, it's amazing. It's about a special needs kid that wants to become a
the
pro
Peanut
wrestler.
Butter Falcon.
Peanut Butter Falcon, that's right.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah, it was. That's a good
Pretty
one.
good.
You don't watch TV, do you?
here and there.
Peanut Butter Falcon. That's
Here and
you,
there.
man.
Why?
No, not
I'm
like
not
that.
the special needs.
No, a pro wrestler. Pro wrestler. Easy. That kid motivated me,
Hey,
by the
yeah.
way. Right? He set his mind to something just like you. And he's
Yeah.
like, nothing's going to stop me. I'm going to meet this guy, and I don't want to ruin the movie. Great movie.
Yeah. Dude,
I'm sure
listen,
so.
I love this topic because I see so many people struggle with like thinking that they don't have the capability to do something. And it's like, dude, there's literally nothing holding
Can't
you
do.
back from that besides yourself. And I know it's like so cliche and cheesy to say, but it's like, dude, I cannot sing, like legitimately. And now it's like, I actually have a song. Dude, I was looking at it today. It's been listened in like 30 different countries already
Wow.
in like 3
So
days.
cool. That's amazing.
Like, dude, someone
so
listened to this in like El Salvador.
Wow.
Like, who has Spotify in El Salvador? I've never been to El Salvador. I just didn't assume, but it's like, it's amazing, you know? And like the different things that we've been able to accomplish because of being an entrepreneur, not just being a wholesaler, but just really embracing that spirit, man. It's incredible.
I think you're the type of person where it doesn't matter what business you're in. Like, you could be selling freaking energy drinks and you crush it. You know, you could like
Yeah.
pick a business, we throw you in there, you're going to be successful. And I think what's special about you, I've seen you on the phone, and I've never seen someone that is so good at getting people to open up. Getting, like, your best buddies with someone in 10, 15 minutes. You're not even like, you know, like, we're watching Closers Olympics, and I see these guys that are playing the whole report card so hard, and it's so inauthentic, and it's so fake, and they're overplaying it, and then they creep out the cellar.
Yeah.
You know, versus you get on there, you're like, how much you want? And like, watching you on the last year's Closers Olympics was just a masterclass, absolute masterclass, not just on sales, but in communication in general.
I mean, listen, it's no different than trying to get a girlfriend.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, if you go and you are trying to heavily chase and press yourself, like, it's just not going to work. It's off-putting to the other person. And I hear a lot of that in sales calls. I do this new series on my YouTube channel called The King Closer Reacts. And it's hilarious because there's not that many people that actually put live closes out there on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, I'm struggling to actually find.
Yeah. So you
calls
pick
to
them up and
to.
react to them, critique them.
And what I've seen more often than not is that we do things in calls because people have told us to do it and we don't know why we're doing it.
Big mistake.
Like, let me ask you this. You buy a lot of real estate, right? When you ask a seller, or do you ask a seller how old the roof is?
Never.
Never. Because it doesn't really matter, does it?
I already know because I'm out there,
Right.
walking. I could tell, I could get verification, but the most important thing is rapport.
But if they tell you a number, like for example, I'm talking about if you're on the phone. Okay. I get that you're in person.
Yeah.
But we ask them a question like how old the roof is, and they tell you it's 5 years old. You know, because you can see if it needs to be replaced or not, right? That number doesn't matter. It could have hailed here in Phoenix yesterday, and that roof needs to be replaced, and the roof could be 1 week old, but it still needs to be replaced.
Probably
right?
not, but possibly yes.
If it's bad enough hail.
In Arizona, we're in Arizona, but I get your point.
All right. We got a derecho or whatever y'all get here. What is the crazy shit y'all get?
With the crazy windstorms.
Yeah. What's that called?
What are those things called? Haboobs.
A haboob. There you go.
Boom.
I like the boobs. I don't love haboobs.
Yeah, you got a haboob. Okay, now it's got to be
haboob.
replaced. Whatever. Point being is, a lot of times closers are asking questions.
They don't need to ask.
They don't
They're
even know
irrelevant.
why they're asking.
Right.
They're just, I was told that I'm supposed to ask how old the
Right.
HVAC is, how old the roof is.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to build rapport, but they don't know how to build rapport.
Yeah.
You just said rapport is the most important thing.
Absolutely.
I build rapport through credibility, not with being their friend.
Okay, let's dive into that.
So
Explain how you do that.
if I'm buying your house, I'm going to ask you, do you want to sell?
Yep.
You say, yeah. I say, how much do you want for it? You're probably going to give me a number because you probably already came to me. So assuming you're an inbound lead.
Okay, inbound lead. Yep.
You're motivated.
Yep.
You're going to say 200,000.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to ask you what's going on. Tell me a little bit about what's going on. You're going to open up.
Utility is important.
You're going to tell me your pain, your motivation. We're going to talk about condition, everything else. If I decide that I'm ready to close, I'm going to walk you through my process of how I'm going to take care of you.
Okay.
So it's going to be about, hey, I'm going to be able to send over a 2-page agreement. Once you've signed that, we're going to come out. We're going to do our inspection, walk through. If the property is everything that you said it's going to be, then we're good to close on your timeline. If it's not, then we're going to have to reevaluate price and timeline. Okay. That being said, I'm willing to cover all the closing costs. There's no realtor commissions. What's the best price you could do for me if I do all that for you?
Right.
That normally gives me 10, 20% price drop, and that credibility that's built there because now they understand the process. I don't see anybody do that. Like, I know it's in scripts. I know people talk about it,
Yeah.
but when I watch actual video, I'm not seeing people do that. I watch it in the Closers Olympics. I've seen it on stage. Like, I don't understand why we're asking about what are you going to do this weekend? Or I love your pet. I have the same kind of dog. I have the same kind of cat. You know, the things that we think are rapport, it's not really moving the needle for us, and it's not explaining to the seller how you're going to take care of them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do you think about that? Because you said rapport is the most important thing. How are you building rapport?
It's funny enough. Okay. Listen, as long as you're consistent what you're doing, you're authentic, you're transparent. I think process is very important. Credibility, right? It's easy to say, hey, listen, I can tell you anything you want to hear, but at the end of the day, Google search me, right? There's immediate credibility. We're like, I want you to know who you're dealing with. One, I think having a license is very important because, hey, I operate above board versus I'm not some shady wholesaler, so I can sell away the competition immediately. But I actually do go into, hey, I want empathy. I want to understand who you are. I understand utility. Like for me, oh, you do have a pet. I'm a big pet lover. I want you to know that like we're of the same mindset. Oh, you speak another language. I'll start speaking in Spanish to you. To me, it's not just about the asset. I want to become your best friend. I want to be your confidant.
Right.
I want you to love and respect me the same way I'm going to do, and I'm going to take care of you as if you're family.
So, see, the difference there is between being belly to belly and being virtual.
No, but I could do that on the phone too until I get there.
Right. But you're always going on. You never close on the phone, right?
I will always go see the asset. Many
Right.
times I will say this too. Hey, listen, I'm out here locally, and if we can come to terms, and I want to understand all your utilities, and I don't want to waste your time, based on what you want and what I'm willing to provide. If I come out there today, are you willing to sign a contract? Because I don't do dress rehearsals. We're here for the main event.
Love that.
So until you're ready to go on the main event, don't worry about the dress rehearsals. Let everyone, you can practice all you want, call these other amateurs. They're not even talking with their checkbook. I'm speaking to you, not hypothetically. I'm talking real numbers. I will come out with a non-refundable check today. When you're ready, I'm ready. I'm not a pushy person. When we can come to terms and you're ready to sign my contract, I will be there in 20 minutes.
That's
Boom.
closer shit right there.
That's why he's got 4,000 deals under his belt.
Yeah,
But that's my point. Like, I don't like. There's no emotion to me. I want to help
Right.
you. And if, by the way, I may not be the best fit for you. Because I'm licensed, I want to do what's best for you. If I give you a number and I come out there and your house is even way better, for example, Mr. Bates, then guess what? I'm going to probably tell you to list it because I want truly what's best for you. But if I feel like this is the other option, I'm going to give you both solutions and you choose. You're in the driver's seat. I'm just here to serve you.
There you go. And that Google me. You said Google me?
Yeah.
That's what won me the 2021 Closers Olympics.
There you go.
That line right there.
Love it.
2021 seller that I closed the deal in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
She had an offer from OfferPad.
There you go.
And
they got really great reviews. Not
she was like, it's a really good offer, but I don't really understand the process. Walked her through the entire process. I said, their offer is definitely going to be higher. You should probably just accept it and go with them. And she said, well, what would your offer be? And I told her. And she said, well, how do I know you're legitimate? And I said, Google me.
Right.
And so she Googled me right there. And she said, man, you're all over the place. And I said, yeah. Said, you get that. You know who you're doing business with.
Totally. Yeah.
But there's a cost to that.
Correct.
Yeah.
What's the cost for a guarantee? Like I like this too. I said, listen, if you want the medication today, I'll bring you the medication, right? I'm a guarantee. I will take that pain away in 1 second. You sign that contract. Everything I'm putting in there, you can sleep tonight 100% because I will wire the full funds immediately. It's done. You don't have to like toss and turn and feel the pain you've been feeling for all this time.
Yeah.
You want it done, it's done. Conversely, if you have the ability to withstand that 4 out of 10 pain, let's go this other way. Let's maximize it for you and play that long game.
Exactly.
You know?
I love
I'm with
it.
you. Yeah.
And listen, when you can build that type of brand and that credibility with a seller where they listen to that, dude, that's on another level.
But the greatest thing is what we both did is we delayed Google me. I hate putting out do you know who I am? Nobody cares, right? I'm going to treat you the same. I don't care. You don't know who I am. And I'm nobody. We're all the same way. We bleed the same way. Go to the bathroom. But at the end of the day, if someone's, hypothesizing, they're teeter-tottering, I'm going to say, listen, my sister works for Yelp, but I always like to give what's called a 5-star experience, right? So I say to you, listen, if you want to be treated like a 1-star and you hope to get more money and then all of a sudden get kicked at the end and have more pain, go that route. You're welcome to do that. But I can guarantee you want that 5-star service and 5-star everything, I'm your guy. And if you don't believe me, look at the reviews.
I love it.
I love it. Okay, I got to ask you a question. I want to back up a little bit. You went virtually before Investorlift existed. What year was that?
2015.
2015. How the hell did you dispo?
So a lot of it was with the group that was
His gold
buying.
mine, the $65,000 and buy virtual buyers.
So that was most of it.
That was 2015, 2016.
Okay.
Right?
And did that fizzle out after everyone was getting kicked in the teeth?
Yeah, I mean, the program kind of went away and then they changed their model because it wasn't working and, whatever happened on there. I wasn't in the group, so I don't really know what happened. But also, we started doing direct-to-seller marketing, and we started actually figuring out, like, okay, we should be building buyers lists. We should be establishing relationships inside of the market. Because our issue was, every time we got a deal in Phoenix, we had to find a new buyer for Phoenix.
Yeah.
Because that one person was only buying a deal in Phoenix. So we had to start building up buyers lists.
Yeah.
Listen, scraping Facebook groups for emails, right? That was a big one.
Yeah.
All of our email blasts were sent out through MailChimp, right? The old school way of doing it.
Old school way. Everyone gets everything.
Yeah. The local Facebook groups is another one. We never were really big on realtors. Big on JV deals, right? If you couldn't find the buyer, you found someone in the area that could move the deal for you. And hopefully get into a position where you're that guy as quickly as possible, right? But listen, it was hard. I mean, there were struggles for sure when we busted into new markets. 2020, when we did our first 50-day challenge, I got 86 deals in 49 states in 50 days. And Cassie basically dispoed all of those herself.
What was your contract fall rate on that? That's got to be high.
On that one,
before Investorlift, right?
Yeah,
before
on that one, I think we were in the low 40s.
Low 40s. That's pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah, she did really good. And then the other thing is we were hitting major markets.
Okay, so that helps
because
a lot.
that was outbound marketing. So we were doing SMS. So it wasn't like I was just going and being like, yeah, I'll take the whole state of Tennessee. It was like, I'll take Memphis.
Memphis, yeah.
And it's like we knew we had buyers there.
In what year did you jump on Investorlift?
Was that 2022?
I think so, right? Yeah, 2022. I was down in Dominican when I was on the phone with you.
Yeah, 21. No, it was February of 22.
February 22. Yeah, I remember that phone
completely
call.
Changed everything.
I'm renting that same house next month.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool house.
I mean, yeah, it changed everything. It was hilarious, man.
How'd you learn about it? Did someone tell you about it, or?
So I heard about it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that I was close to told me not to use it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I want a list afterwards.
You want to know why? I think here's my hypothesis. There's a new drug out there. They know that they're competition to you. So they realize that if you don't jump on this new drug that's going to cure your issues, they're going to supersede you. They were secretly using it, dissuading you from using it.
That happens a lot.
Like, I'm not going to give you my secret sauce.
Yeah.
Investorlift sucks.
So what I got told is it was overpriced. It wasn't going to last. With the name like Cartel Mode, it was going to fail. It was the good old boys club. And I will say, the early users of Investorlift, I did not know. So like Nick Perry, I had met once at one event. Outside of that, we had never really spoken. David Olds, I had never met. He's one of my favorite people in this industry
Yeah,
now.
we were just kicking with him last month.
I mean, I love David.
Yeah.
But I didn't know him at the time.
Yeah.
Right? So it wasn't like I could reach out to anybody. I didn't know you.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you existed.
Yeah.
There was something called Investorlift, right? Looking back at it, and I will also say this, I'm very bad about digging deep on stuff like that because I'm very laser focused on what I'm doing. So it was like, what we're doing is already working. So yeah, whatever. There's a Dispo tool.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever.
So you sat on it for a while. You knew about it for a bit.
And then,
and why did people say not to use it? What was the reason that they gave?
because it wasn't going to work. It was overpriced. It was new. It wasn't going to work. What could you possibly have created that didn't already exist?
Didn't already exist.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that was...
So you sat on it for a while, but then you called me up that one day. Was there something that prompted you?
Yeah. So I think at that point in time, we had something like 96 properties under contract.
Yeah.
And Dispo was just a nightmare. And I remember looking at my board. We had a snowstorm that hit Fort Worth. And when snow hits Dallas-Fort Worth, it basically shuts
it down.
So there was 3 people at the office, me, Cassie, and at the time our general manager that we had. And I'm staring at the board, and I'm like, 96 properties.
Same.
We're probably going to drop 50% of them, if not more. And the ones that we are going to sell, we're not selling for near enough because we have such volume. We're not creating a sense of urgency on any of these. It's just we're taking whatever we can get.
You're not maximizing the pool.
Yeah, I mean, there couldn't be an effort on marketing a deal because it was like there's so many.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like, sling it, get it out.
First offer, let's go.
Yeah. He'll take it.
Let's go.
Oh, he'll take it. Send the assignment, right?
Yeah.
And so it was like, this isn't working. Like the volume is not matching what our revenue should be. And I can't remember what it was, but someone said, I think it was Patrick that said, should we check out Investorlift? And I was like, I'll try anything now.
Yeah.
And so looked up and I watched your video and I was like, wow, man, this guy is super boring and has no personality. He really should never be on camera. Like, holy shit. Like, Harvard education, they can't give you a personality though. And so I was like,
so funny.
But looks pretty cool. And we'll take anything. So got on a call with you that day. You were like, I called Steve. because
Steve Trang,
yeah. And I was like, hey, how do I get a hold of the Investorlift people? And he's like, I'll connect you right now. That makes sense. He's the one that referred me to you.
Yeah.
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 That's why he makes so much money with Investorlift. It's because of me. All fingers point back to me. So we got on the phone that day. We got on a Zoom call. And I'll never forget, you were so smooth about it, man. You were like, yeah, this is what we do. And you can just wire over 36 grand right now and we'll get you started. And I remember my response.
The assumptive close. Yeah, no problem, man. I got you dialed in.
You know what my response was? Bro, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I don't know who you are. But you want me to wire you 36 grand? I'm like, no, that's not happening, bro. And you're like, I really want you on Investorlift. I was like, yeah, we're going to have to make some adjustments to this. I'm going to have to at least see the product like on my computer before the 36 grand happens. And you let me use it for like a month. And then it was like, okay, yeah, I'm sold. I mean, it's a robust tool though. It took us probably 3 to 4 months before we actually gained traction. The team was super worried.
Yeah.
Like we got in there and it's like we just machine gun style, like every deal we had just boom, boom, boom. And it was like almost identical, like subject lines, like write-ups, like whatever shitty photos we had. And we were just sending it out to like every buyer that we possibly could, like maxing it out. And it was like,
and that probably killed your initial traction.
We were like,
going too big is actually the worst thing to do on Investorlift. You got to go small for maximum results.
We were like, why are none of the deals selling? And then it was like, okay, we started figuring it out, talking to some other people, got hooked up with David Olds pretty quickly. Because it was like, okay, David was like the guy that's supposed to talk to you about how to use Investorlift. So getting traction pretty quickly there.
Nice.
So now what is your fallout rate with Investorlift?
So right around 30 to 35%.
That's so good. Even if you gain 10%, I mean, that's huge.
But I mean, dude, a lot of that has nothing to do with Investorlift. A lot of that has to do with the fact that we're contracting any sight unseen. So there's going to be a natural attrition just of like, I locked up a deal the other day in Bossier City during one of my lives. Seller said nothing needed to be done with it. We show up at the house, 9 people are living in it, and they all have cats.
So one of my houses? Sounds familiar. Jeez.
I mean, it's like just that. If he had said those words, it would have been like, gotcha, 50,000 in minimum rehab. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like that's a termination. That's not. I don't even really consider that anything to do with Investorlift. You know? And then there's the title issues. Right. That are going to come up.
20%.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's going to be the time where you contract the property for 50 grand and there's a $200,000 judgment. It's like, okay, cute.
You're always going to lose 20%.
Yeah,
minimum. Even if you're got everything dialed in, 20% off the top.
Yep.
To be at 30, 35, that's really good.
Yeah.
Very solid.
Like that's
especially doing nationwide. Like when you're in these, as you go into smaller towns too, it goes up.
Yeah.
You get hairier deals in those.
All right, so I want to talk to you about that because why are you giving my my rural and tertiary markets a bad name, bro?
Dude, I just follow the data.
Okay,
I follow the data.
Okay, but you're following the data of your users.
Yeah,
assuming that the users know what they're doing.
This is true.
Maybe they just need to learn wholesaling the right way.
So if you can teach rural markets. Mm-hmm. Let's do a whole thing on that because you do well in rural markets.
Listen, it's about buying deeper,
right?
Okay, and it's also about understanding that acquisitions is easy and dispositions is going to take work.
I will say this: when I look at the numbers, I'm looking at Investorlift as a whole.
Yeah,
right. So when I go into a rural market, I see super high days to sell a deal. I see super high contract fallout rate. So when I see like less than 50,000 population. 60 to 90 days to sell, average assignment fee, $6,000, contract fallout rate, 90%. I'm like, ooh. Yeah,
those
not working.
Are those like real numbers?
Yeah, I could show you the real numbers on some of these counties. It's brutal. But that being said, it's based on everybody.
Right.
Everybody. So maybe there's a way to do it. I mean, you're doing it.
Do you think that part of the reason why is because with the power of Investorlift, too many people are just taking any JV deal, any deal that gets pumped their way and saying,
Just saying, let's YOLO it, let it rip.
yeah,
I think that could be.
what's the why not?
Yeah.
You bring me a JV deal. Literally, I mean, we get it in our email box
Yeah.
where it's like, hey, you're cartel, right?
Yeah.
Just send it out. Just see what happens. And we're like, no, we don't want to do that. And
No.
they're like, just try it. And then we say no because we don't see the value in the deal.
Yeah. Waste of time.
And then someone else goes and does it. And then we, every now and then we'll get the email, well, so-and-so went and did it and they sold the deal and made 20 grand. And it's like, well, that's great. We care about our team, their time.
Your branding. When
Right.
you put your name on something,
Yeah.
that's your reputation.
So do you think that's hurting the numbers?
I think for sure it's in the numbers.
I know it is.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that there are people out there that are just
Throwing spaghetti against the wall.
Okay, make an argument for rural. I'll tell you my argument against rural. My argument against rural is super long cash conversion cycles.
okay.
Okay.
Hold on. Can we define what rural is?
Rural, I would define rural as like population of like less than 100,000.
Okay.
Okay. My favorite is to be doing reps in like 500K plus markets because I know I can sell it same day. And I'm all about like ring the bell, ring the bell, ring the bell.
Yep.
I'm also all about premium marketing. So Google ads, spending money on Ferrari leads. So I might be paying $300, $400, $500 a lead. So I got really high cost per deal, which means, and I like to have big deals. I like to have my guys paid well on their commissions. So I want to be making like $35,000, $50,000 on a deal. So on rural, typically it takes a long time to sell.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more issues around like title and judgments and things like that drive high contract fall rate, even if you do everything else perfectly. But then ultimately, the assignment fees are just typically pretty low because as you go rural, it's like smaller price points. And so like, it's like a $5,000, $10,000 rep and said I can be in Los Angeles doing $50,000 rep.
Okay. So there can only be so many people that go into Los Angeles.
Yes.
Right. There can only be so many people that go into DC.
Yeah.
Right. So to combat what you just said, most people cannot afford $300 to $500 per lead.
Yeah. When you're first getting started, start in smaller markets.
So
I agree with that.
So that right there is argument number one, right?
Yeah.
I can go to a PPL provider and I can spend anywhere between $29 to $55 to generate a lead in a rural area. Okay.
Yeah.
And then so my cost per lead is a lot lower. My cost per contract is a lot lower. And then on the disposition side, when I have a tool like Investorlift, I can actually move the deal and I can be a solution for an end buyer that almost no one else is trying to even market to.
Okay, so here's what I want you to do. If you're willing to do this, Can you create a course for how to dispo in real markets?
Yeah, it's called titaniumu.com.
Okay,
Look at this
boom.
guy.
Titanium.
He's got a song coming out
Was it
about
Titanium
it. Should
U?
be your next song.
Just
like
just
university.
You. Okay, we're gonna link to that.
Sorry, say it again. I interrupted.
Titanium U.
Because
Titanium University.
I know it's possible. Remember when people were all naysaying on you on the Close Olympics? He signed up a deal in Lubbock, Texas. Everyone said, "Hey, you signed this up way too high. It's not a deal. It's not a deal." I call up RJ. I'm like, you know what? Or someone in the comments, I think Naaman Taylor was like, "It is if you post it on Investorlift, right?" And then so just to prove everyone wrong, we jumped on a live. We did it live, and we took that deal and we sold it in Lubbock, Texas, population of, I don't know, 20,000 or something. It took 3 hours to do, but and it wasn't a big assignment fee. It was like $5,000, $10,000.
But money was made.
If you're a 19-year-old wholesaler making $5,000 in 3 hours, not bad.
Hold on. But here's the thing that no one thinks about.
What?
The next 4 deals I've sold to Austin. Okay.
I met him. Did you know I met him?
Yeah. At Investor Fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we do a deal in a rural tertiary market, it's what I'm saying. Okay. It's not about the first deal.
You got the buyer.
I'm not going to sell you one. I'm going to sell you 100.
Okay. I like that.
So people don't want to eat shit on the first deal.
Yeah.
They want to make that 30 grand rip. Okay. I want to make $300,000 with that buyer.
Okay.
That's the difference.
I love the same mentality. When someone calls me up, I said, I don't care about a deal. I care about the future of our deals.
Yes.
Super important.
Dude, If I met him
Yeah.
and I'm a wholesaler in his market, I am not sending my deal out to anyone else. I am sending it directly to him. Because I know exactly what he's going to do. I'll be there in an hour, and I'll tell you exactly. You are the case study of what I tell everyone. They always say, how do you get pictures? How do you dispo deals? How do you do the recon in a market that you don't have any boots on the ground? I find him.
Yeah.
First person, when I lock up a deal, I ask the seller, can you send me pictures? I cannot. I live an hour away. I can't be there for a week. Okay, got it. Call you. Hey, first right of refusal.
Yeah.
You go out, want the property. If you don't want it, the only thing I ask for, tell me what you would buy it for.
Of course. Any guaranteed.
And
Send me some photos.
And send me pictures.
Yep. Love it.
Okay?
Happy to do it.
So you go out there, exactly. You want that every single time.
First mover advantage. Give you
I
a
love
look
this.
at everything, and I'm going to give you a guaranteed number. It may not give you the full of everything that you want, and hopefully I will. By the way, I always want to pay the most because I always want that first opportunity.
The next time I get a lead in your market, if I don't know where it should be, I say, hey,
Where do I need to be?
Right.
Reverse engineer your
hey,
pricing.
41st Street, where do you want this?
Exactly.
And you're going to be like, east or west?
Correct.
I'm going to be like, east. And you're going to be like, ooh,
Right.
okay.
You
Sounds
already know
good.
this market.
Yeah. And then I go lock it up, and then you go look at it. And now we're in a pseudo partnership,
Correct.
and he's getting exactly what he needs. Now, we're talking about his market is here in Phoenix, right?
Yeah.
This happens everywhere.
Correct.
Yeah.
We've got a buyer that essentially owns East Tennessee. I can call him about Chattanooga, Knoxville, up in the rural. You're talking about rural. I mean, we're talking about he wants to buy this mobile home on 10 acres.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We call him up, and he's like, man, if you can get that for me for 50 grand,
I'll take it.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Because this is what my exit strategy is. So now I'm writing down and I'm notating this is what his business is. This is how you build the ability to do nationwide over the course of time. Where now I don't know the buyers.
Yeah.
My team does. My system does.
Yeah.
So we get, dude, our right now, we have 31 properties under contract. Okay. We have 3 guys at the office that are doing acquisitions and dispositions and a TC. Okay. That is a 21-year-old and 2 22-year-olds.
You're lame.
That is who is on the phone doing acquisitions and dispositions. Justin has been with us for 3 years, and he literally has done deals in 35 different states at this point. Okay.
Yeah.
He has buyers everywhere. So as leads come in, he's cherry picking which leads he wants to call based off of where his buyers are.
But the other thing that you didn't talk about, which is so important, which is speed. So it's like you have a limited time. That lead comes in, you want to cook that food when the fire is hot at the fastest time. So when you've already solidified that relationship, when you call me, it says 911 RJ, and it's like, I don't care what I'm doing. That is the hottest number. So you've created something so important.
Yeah.
It's the 911 call. Emergency, yeah, what do you got? I need a price on this one because I'm locking it up in 2 minutes. I got you. I'm dropping what I'm doing. I'm
Facts.
responding. Now we have an amazing win-win joint venture effectively going. So you have that fire response, that 911 call to the top buyer in every state or every city. You're golden.
Yes.
I love that.
And here's the thing. It's hilarious because people ask me, how do you dispo these deals everywhere? And I'm like, Investorlift. But it's not because I'm putting it on Investorlift and blasting it out and the email or the text is selling it. It's like, no, if I sell a deal right now in Lubbock, Texas to Austin Hughes,
Yeah.
how did I sell that deal? Investorlift?
You found him on Investorlift.
Right. But I don't put it on Investorlift. I get a deal under contract right now in Lubbock. I'm just calling Austin
Just
Hughes.
call Austin. The lead
And
comes in. Hey, Austin, I got another one for you.
Hey,
But-
I got another one, and he says, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And then it's over.
Okay, now the counter argument here, though, is you might be leaving money on the table because, like, I mean, if you don't blast it, blasting a deal is going to get you another 5, 10, 15,000.
I don't care.
You don't care. It's just volume game.
I don't care.
What do you think your average assignment fee is right now?
15.
15. So you're just like, hey, 15. Okay, but it's you have a low cost. What's your cost per deal?
Dude. Wait, lead Zolo, 1 out of 7, and a
1 out of 7 you're closing on leads.
Yes.
Holy moly.
property leads, okay? $55 a lead. I closed 1 out of 10 on the first dial.
Holy moly.
No follow-up.
It's insane.
So cost per deal is like $500.
That's insane. Maybe even less. Here's what I love too, which is important. With these strategic relationships, when someone calls me, Zach, I got a deal in Flagstaff. They know that I may not buy in Flagstaff, but I know who's buying in Flagstaff. Yep. So you're going to leverage that 911 call. Hey man, do me a favor. Can you sell this? I'm not a Dispo guy, whatever. I'll put it on Investorlift, whatever. But I also have those buyers have the resources. Those top buyers have the resources in their jurisdiction. You call them. I know it's not right for you, but I know you know who's going to buy that. If you sell it, I said, I don't want anything. I value the relationship so much. I'll help you sell it for free.
Right.
I know Robert Wensley. One call, Rob, who's the topper over here? Yeah. Boom, connect, done. So leverage those relationships. We talk about maximizing the pulp of opportunity. You're not maximizing the pulp because you're presenting that person, which gives them even stronger market credibility by being the forefront in the connector of opportunities.
Facts. And listen, on your blasting it on Investorlift, so I'm not a bidded up Dispo person.
You take it or leave it.
Which I respect. I hate when people play the games. Me like, hey, what's your max? Here's my number. If it's good, it's good. If not, I'm not going to I'm 500 over or anything. I'm not playing some more. I'm getting the first opportunity. Let's do the deal. Shake. Let's focus on the next leads that are coming because you're closing at a 13% ratio.
This is the guy I want right here. And that's why I'm not a bidded up kind of guy.
You just need a Zachary Keeps in each city.
Dude, I want him happy.
Yeah.
I want you really happy too because I respect and value the person who's bringing me the deals. That's my livelihood. That's my lifeblood.
You're my livelihood.
And that's why we work well together.
The person that I want to look back at their year and go, what made our year so great? Well, dude, we bought 20 deals from Titanium.
Yeah.
Holy shit. They're legit. They're like a legitimate lead generating source for my landlord business, for my flipping business.
Yeah.
Like, I want them to look back at that and say, I respect them. Like, I will do anything for them when we call. And that is why when we get deals in Southern Maine, in Montana, like we have a buyer in Montana that it does not matter where it is in the state. We call him the next day, he will drive to it. He has driven 7.5, 4 hours to go to that. And then you go look, and it's like, how have you guys done deals in Montana? We did one and establish a relationship, and then we keep going back to the well.
Wow.
And saying, hey, Steve, what about this? Yeah.
Because those people are resourceful. It's not random that they're successful. They're successful because they have amazing relationships with people. They're going to find the agent up there that has an end buyer. They're going to go through all those extra steps to get that deal done.
But here's the other thing. In those locations, their phone is not ringing every single day like yours is.
Yeah.
So when we call, it's not a 911 call. It's a wipe the dust off the phone.
Wow.
Like, whoa, phone's ringing.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
Right.
You got a deal?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't have anything going on.
Delta Airlines, I need a flight to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, sometimes we'll talk to them and it's like, things have been slow. It's like, I mean, dude, there's sometimes you can go on Investorlift and look at certain states and it's like there's less than 5 deals in that state.
Yeah, Montana's tough.
New Hampshire. Dude, every time we do a deal in New Hampshire, like we have to explain what wholesaling is.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, it's like they don't know. And so when you actually make that relationship with buyers, it makes a huge difference to their lives. Yeah. Like you said, that's your livelihood.
It is.
Imagine if you didn't have any wholesalers, realtors, or anybody calling you, and you didn't know what direct-to-seller marketing was. But you're a landlord. Like you're the only way you're picking up deals is off the MLS because you don't know any better.
I'd be driving it. I would be resourceful. I would knock.
You would be.
We would do it.
But that's how you end up with how many deals you've done. You said 4,000. It's incredible. Most people, they sit back and they go, I just wait on some deals to show up.
There's no way. Like you, I'm proactive, not reactive. Right. We get up, we're hungry, want to fish and eat.
Exactly.
Keep eating.
Okay, I love this. Okay, I'm always open to learning new things.
And successful.
I've been shitting on rural markets for a very long time, but this is very interesting. I think would be really interesting is to take a few of your students and just isolate them like their accounts and see what their contract fallout rate and average deal size and see like, okay, here's all everyone else on Investorlift, their stats. Oh, here's titanium students.
That's amazing. I think
You
that's
know,
great.
like it's so easy for me to do. You give me a list of your top 10 students,
It's great.
and we could dive into the data and see like, because here's the thing. Most leads are rural. Most leads are rural. Most of the people are distressed trying to sell their house to a cash buyer. They're not in Los Angeles. They're out in the desert here.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
I would also be curious to see not so much on what the average deal size is.
Yeah.
I would like to see the total amount of revenue.
Yes. Because, I mean, if we think about you said you have how many guys on your team?
4.
4 guys. And you're doing how many deals per month?
We're at 31 right now.
31 deals a month.
That's
so,
insane.
like, a lot of these guys have super heavy operations, huge overhead.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times they got $200,000-$300,000 overhead.
Yes.
You know, they got to hit 200,000-300,000 just to break even.
We are constantly finding ways to cut the overhead down.
What do you think is your net margin after you cover
I
everything?
knew you were going to ask me that today.
I
I bet he's at
I
like
know.
80%.
Here's
I
the
bet you it
reason
is.
why that number is skewed. It's probably going to be a little bit better than that.
It's incredible.
The reason why is because I just moved all my overhead to my education business.
So
Like,
it's strategic.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
It's
like,
just it's skewed a little bit.
like the office, the internet,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
electricity. Problem with the education business is you're like, what expenses do we have over there? And I
Yeah.
was like, it needs
I got some expenses.
I was like, it needs all of the expenses, okay?
That dinner I had with Wensley,
Yeah,
that
I was
was
like-
expensive.
I was like, the wholesaling business has like expenses, you know.
Yeah.
Fucking, I mean, we got to buy him Rolexes all the time.
totally. totally.
one a month.
Do you see that TV? It didn't just randomly end up there. Just kidding.
The
just
TV
kidding.
like elevates or levitates. I mean, that was crazy. So yeah, I knew you were going to ask that, but this year we just really skewed the numbers. I mean, it should be closer to like 70%, but I mean, we just skewed it to where it's like our only numbers are going to be like commissions,
Cost of leads.
yeah, and even on some of those, it's even more skewed. Because,
So wait, it shows up like
sometimes,
90 or something
so,
right
yeah,
now?
I mean, sometimes
it's like 90, it
property-
should be
yeah.
70.
That's why you need to
property leads will be like, hey RJ, if you go live, here's 50 leads for free.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like,
Okay.
RJ.
how
I
do
guess
you
I'm
how do we
going live.
calculate this on net profit?
I can help your profitability.
Yeah.
Depreciation. You need to own more.
Oh,
real
yes.
estate.
Yes.
Is that in the?
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things is that we did own. I mean, at one point in time, we owned like 200 rentals.
Damn.
Okay. That was during the Cookie Monster phase,
Right.
2018, 2019. I had to liquidate a lot of those just to survive. Right. So I already know the power. I wouldn't be sitting here today if I didn't if I hadn't bought. Right. But yeah, we're gonna get back into that.
Sorry,
soon.
you just said something interesting. Cookie Monster face. Why do you call it the Cookie Monster face?
His hands in a million cookie jars.
Yeah, well,
'Cause you're doing a little bit of this,
there
a
was
little bit of that.
But also, you know, the part where he just grabs the cookies, he's like, no.
Yeah.
That was me with the houses. I mean,
Okay. Just
it-
buy
You
everything.
couldn't stop yourself.
I had access to capital.
Right.
I was really good at, I'm good at closing deals.
Yeah.
And so it was like,
Taking them down.
hey, well, I tasted something that I wish I had avoided, which was we did a flip in Hawaii. We made like 125 grand, and it was like a super easy rehab.
You're like,
was
let's
like-
do that
It was,
everywhere.
it was like 980 square feet. We spent like 25 grand on the rehab. We made 125 grand rip. And it was like, okay. We went and got the house one street over. We were getting the deals off of Hubzu.
I've heard of Hubson.
Yeah, it's the auction site.
Yeah.
So we went and got the one street over. That one, not good as margins, but we made like 75, 80 grand. And I was like, we just made 200 grand on
Yeah.
like 2 super easy flips. And then for the life of me, I don't know why it went to this extreme, but I went and bought 12 houses the next month in Hawaii.
Wow.
And it was like, we're going to make $1 million
Right.
right now.
Right.
These are the easiest flips. And the first one that we broke ground on, it was like huge plumbing issues. And then it was like the pool had to be fixed. And it was like, that's going to be like a 50 grand. And it's like the budget went through the roof. And then everything else fell apart. And it's just like it spiraled out of control. So yeah, we're going to get back to the buying rentals and stuff like that. Just a little bit more strategic. set that up as a separate business, right?
Yes, that's the way.
Yes.
I always tell people,
do.
focus, build your wholesaling machine as an ATM, then remove yourself from it. And once you have a team running that, then you start a completely separate business, your buy and hold business, and you just assign the deals over.
I mean, at this point, our wholesale team is pretty close to being self-sufficient.
Nice.
Cassie would disagree with that because she is still heavily involved, but my action in the wholesale business is very limited.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much all on the education business and on the content. So we're getting closer to the point where it could be, okay, let's look at creating that next business and being rentals would be the next thing that we would want to get into.
Yeah.
You said so many just nuggets of information, great stuff. I kind of want to, conclude this episode on a thought. And I love what you said about your last breath and all these opportunities. How do you want to be? What is your legacy? Someone, at the end of the day, they're coming to your funeral, probably playing your rap music.
Okay, your funeral music ready.
How do you want people to? What is your legacy? What do you want people to remember and think about you? What do you want to?
I think I want people to look back and say, man, that guy would do anything to achieve what he wanted and to make a difference in the people that he cared about's lives. I mean, I truly find happiness with making other people happy. I mean, dude, there's one thing when it's like, man, I go out and I win the Closers Olympics. It's actually funny. Like what would be like such a cool moment. My personality type is actually like, that's a deflating moment.
Why?
Because it's like, I'm at the top of the mountain and POD says it best. Love POD.
Love POD.
Okay. They have a new song called I Won't Bow Down. And it says, at the top of every mountain is the bottom of another. And that's constantly how I feel during those moments is like, okay, this last Closers Olympics, I realized something where it was like, okay, pretty much just cemented myself as I am the mountain. Like when it comes to this, it's everybody that's willing to do it, to put themselves out there. They've tried, it won't happen. But that doesn't make me happy. What makes me happy is when someone like Robert comes to me and says, dude, the things that you've done for Investorlift over the past year have really made a difference in our lives and this many users' lives. When I go live and I close 3 property leads in an hour, that's awesome. But it moves me to tears when I see, because of that, there's 100 signed contracts from property leads inside of our community right now. Wow. That's 100 signed contracts that move the needle for other people's lives that are working W-2s or first responders, have been told that by their significant others that they can't do wholesaling, that they're never going to succeed at this, that have spent $100,000 on other programs and never gotten a signed contract, and within 2 weeks of being inside of our community now have properties under contract and are actually funding deals and getting money back in their bank accounts. That's the kind of stuff that drives me and motivates me. I just want to look back at the end of my life and say, dude, I did everything that I wanted to do, that I could do, but how many lives did I really, truly change?
Mic drop. You just closed me.
I do. That's
but honestly, when you talk to the people virtually and whatnot, when you tell them and you got real vulnerable right there, it's coming into Robert. And by the way, we should keep him on for, we're talking about the first responders. In fact, for my properties, we're going to help those people do exactly what you do. Maybe get them entry to their community or subsidize or something. So there's going to be some sort of synergy there. But you move me, especially when you said, what gives me true happiness, not the money, it's not all this stuff. It's the impact of making you happy, the other people. When you talk to sellers and you have that mentality, that's my mentality as well, which is huge. So one takeaway for me is, when you're talking to that third party, that's whoever you're engaging with, and you say, I just want you to be happy. If I can make you happy, with finance, with all these other terms, that we're going to be good. I know I've done my job.
Yep.
And they're like, how could they not work with you?
Yep.
But that's real shit right there.
Dude,
I love that.
On that live with property leads, talked to 13 sellers, 3 signed contracts. The last one I talked to, this is the real shit that we're talking about, okay? I call the seller, say, are you still looking to sell that property? I am. How much do you want for it? $200,000. Tell me a little bit about what you got going on. Same thing I say every call. He says, I'm dying. I don't want to burden my wife with this. It's our secondary home. I don't know how much longer I have. I need the $200,000 right now. It's a good deal. That's the conversation. That's real shit, you know?
Yeah.
I've been face to face with the guy who literally had 3 days to live.
Yeah.
And he wanted to take the money. I'm not joking. He's like, what do you need the money today? I go, I need it today. I'm getting hookers. I'm doing fucking blow and I'm going skydiving. I've literally 3 or 4 days left of my life. I go, I will wire the money right fucking now.
Yeah. And it's the same thing.
And you gave him the full 200. I know you didn't negotiate.
Not one bit.
Here. Same here.
Sent the contract. What's your email?
Yep.
Boom. What's your wife's email? Boom.
Yep.
Signed. They had one question. They wanted to know if I was BBB rated, and they wanted to know if I had a website.
Wow.
That was it.
Wow.
Amazing.
You know? At the end of the day, he wanted to know, is this really going to go down?
Yeah.
If I pass away tomorrow,
Right.
is this really going to go down?
So that his
Right.
wife is not burdened by that issue.
With being under contract with someone who's
He's not going to play games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they signed it that night. And dude, that to me is like every day with the seller calls, right? Seeing what we're able to do. Again, going back to on a deeper level of what makes me happy is when I see a 22-year-old do that with that seller.
Mm-hmm.
That works for me. That makes me happier than me being able to do it.
Yeah.
When I watch Justin and Garrett and AJ do that, and I mean, dude, it literally makes me like emotional to see it where I'm like, dude, these are kids. Garrett found me on TikTok. He messaged me and said, I just want an opportunity, man.
Mm-hmm.
I love what you do. Justin, I met at an event and I said, why are you here? And he said, because I want to learn what this wholesaling thing is. I said, if you want to learn what wholesaling is, you just found the guy that does it better than anyone. Show up in my office tomorrow and you have a job. Otherwise, you're a little bitch and don't ever show up at an event again. He's worked for me ever since.
Wow.
Why not have something on Investorlift that enables people that are looking to get in the business, get in touch with top wholesalers?
That. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a cool connection thing? And you could also, that leads into your education stuff and other connections. Someone who's hungry, it's just kind of like Monster.com or Hot Jobs, whatever it is, I don't know, and these career resources.
Get a job on a wholesaler
Why not have
team.
a connection? Be like, hey, if you want to get in this business, you want to connect, you can connect those people to top people that do deals that have already been vetted. Wouldn't that be interesting?
That.
It is.
Maybe internship opportunities. Get the Harvard kids from your network in there.
Hell yeah.
Dude, you got Harvard kids that want to do this?
We can find some.
Yeah.
I got to get rocking, but this has
been incredible. One of my favorite podcasts ever.
Absolutely. I mean,
I told you guys we're bringing it bigger and better.
Hey,
Yeah.
11 out of 10, right? That's what this is
11 out of
called?
10.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, guess what happens when you add 11 together? You get 22, and that's titanium. Just
Look
saying.
at this guy.
I
Thought
love
about
it.
that. Titanium
love
is
it.
22nd element.
You're a
22nd
sensitive guy,
element.
aren't you?
a little
That is
bit.
awesome.
Yeah. Most people wouldn't assume that, but
I know what I can tell.
But dude, I care about people and I care about this industry. It changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, this is one of the coolest days I've ever had in my life. I got to do Brent Daniels, Steve Trang, hang out with you guys. Tomorrow I get to hang out with Pace Morby at his office. I mean,
Living the dream.
look at this.
Life
His office, bro.
It probably wasn't on his top 60 bucket list, you know.
It's okay though. No, man, this
Brother,
is
it was
awesome.
amazing
Yeah.
reconnecting
RJ,
with
thank you so
You're
much.
a great dude.
Thank you, man.
How do people follow you?
Just RJ Bates Third, YouTube. Go there. If you want to message me, send me a DM on Instagram. Titaniumu.com. That's our university. That's our community, man. If you want to learn more about that, go to titaniumu.com. Get in there.
Awesome. Amazing. Amazing episode, guys. Thank you so much. Guys, if you found value, drop 11 out of 10 down in the comments. Let's feed that algorithm. It shows us you're finding value in the content so we can do more of it. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you on the next one.
Let's go. 11 out of 10, boys.
11 out of 10. Hell yeah.
We'll have our
Dude, that was great.
We'll have
Awesome.
it next time.
Yeah.
We skipped deal or no deal. So next time you come, we'll do it.
Deal or no deal.
Yeah.
When's